Hi everyone, welcome to Third Coast Gaming Impressions. Today is April 5th, 2021. It's episode 24. We're here to talk the video games. I'm joined by Austin Taylor.
I am so tired.
Oh, you're not the one who ate chocolate last night. You're not tired. Easter on Sunday and they got a big old bunny and I ate the whole thing. I ate half of it at like 8 and I ate the other half at like midnight. It was great. It's great.
Sure, but I also did let this boy, my dog that got out, sleep with me. And he does not sleep for 8 hours like I do.
Oh,
He does maybe
yes.
5, and then he needs to go outside.
See, that sounds like me, because I also woke up after 5 hours of being asleep, being like, oh, my old man bladder can't hold it anymore, you guys.
Jeez.
Ugh. All right, video games. Austin, I think I've played 12 hours of Outriders at this point. I think so.
I,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Outriders, the People Can Fly video game, published by
Yeah,
Square Enix. That game's
yeah,
pretty cool. Okay, so here's the timeline, Austin. That game came out April 1st, 4 days ago. I
yeah,
was like, man, this YouTuber I like really likes this game. Maybe I should just try it again. So I got
yeah. Because
that demo.
I don't remember you being impressed with that demo.
No, I reloaded that demo up with the Trickster on Series S, and then realized, oh, this game runs way better on my Series S, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Okay, so it runs 60 frames. I got it on game. I got it. I got the demo. I was like, I beat the demo. I got to the boss at the end, and I was like, this game is kind of fun. I'm having a good time. I get it off Game Pass, and 12 hours later, I fucking love this game, Austin. This game is fucking amazing. Holy shit.
you can't tell me these things.
I am in love with it. Okay. Hey, Austin. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say, ask me what the story of this game is.
I know what the story of this game is.
Okay, but for this bit, ask me what the story is,
What's the
Austin.
story of this game?
I don't know because I've skipped every fucking cutscene, Austin.
Fair.
I just don't. I just want to blow people up, dude. I've just been shooting people. Okay, some history. This is the guys. They did Bulletstorm in 2011. I think they did Gears of War Judgment, which is the Baird only
Yeah, which
Gears
is
of
a
War game in
spin-off of.
2013 spinoff. They helped Epic Games with Fortnite on PC. I guess they co-developed it, and then they went off and they've been working on this for 5 years and. Dude, this fucking game, Austin. Holy shit. Okay. I am a one-man fucking army. Like, I've been
Yeah.
playing this only solo. I have a shotgun and a light machine gun. And you just murder people. There
What
are
class are you?
bodies flying everywhere. Dude, this is crazy.
So, so when the pry bar impaled you and the game asked you what class you want to be, which class did you choose?
Okay, so I picked the Trickster.
Okay.
And I'm going to go through and tell you. Okay, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so every class will get 8 skills by the time they're level 22. And it kind of starts you off at 3. But each individual class like has its own traits, which is inherent to how you get your health back, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you don't regenerate health. So this is the Devastator, which is the rock kind of class. He has 15% extra health. He has 30% armor, and then every close range kill will heal him by 24%. The Pyromancer gets extra like 10% anomaly power, which is their magic power. Okay. Pyromancer, skills will mark damage enemies for 15 seconds. Killing a marked target heals the Pyromancer for 24% of the health. So you burn someone, you shoot them, or you kill them with your
Yeah, while
ability,
they're
you
on
get health
fire.
back. Yeah, while they're on fire, screaming for their life. The Technomancer has increased long-range weapon damage by 15%. Increased skill leech by 15%, so you do damage to people and your skills come back faster. And then weapon leech by 15% is health coming back. when you shoot people. The Trickster, every close range kill heals the Trickster by 20% of their health, and you get 12% shield. And then you get some extra stuff. But, okay, so I'm just running around. The 3 abilities it starts you with is you get like a teleport where you'll teleport behind someone, and you get a shield bonus. It's called Hunt the Prey. So I will get behind people. I will zip across the map, grab the sniper real fast, and shoot them from the back with a shotgun. And then you have this slow trap where it makes this giant bubble that everyone's slow in it for 10 seconds. And then my temporal blade I will activate, and I will slice every enemy in it. So I'll usually grab like 5 enemies with that, and it will just turn them to skeletons, and then their body skeletons are flying through this slow trap. Oh my god, I'm having such a good time with this. I have all the... I think I'm 1 level away, but I've basically been using the 3 base abilities because they're really strong.
Yeah, like that's a really good, like, because that's the ability sort of, like you get those abilities in the demo. And of the classes I played, like those were the abilities that like had the best synergy to them, which is why like the only method of play I would ever recommend for this game would be the Trickster.
Yeah, people are apparently having a really good time with the other ones. I was talking to some people in some streams about what they were playing. Their Scuttlebutt is the Technomancer, is the good late game one, but that might be for co-op. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. But I did replace. I took out the teleport for this other one called Borrowed Time, which has been really useful as my world tiers are going up. Because as you're playing the game, you're leveling your character, but you're also leveling up the difficulty of the game to get increased weapon drops and like mod drops. So Borrowed Time, I will mark a location when I activate it, so I'll put a stamp down right there. And then I will go forward, and I will have increased shield for 28 seconds. So I'm going forward, I'm shooting a bunch of enemies, and I'm zipping back to cover, basically. The skill cooldowns, Austin, are wild. Okay, that skill comes back in like 20 seconds. Temporal Blade with some mods will come back in like 30 seconds. I have a mod that just gives me another Temporal Blade. So I am slow trapping people, blading them, and then waiting for some other people to get in and blading them again. And after I Temporal Blade people, I have like a full bar of shield. So I'm just like an unkillable monster. The routine of this game is you have this area with a bunch of enemies flooding at you. You're trying to kill them as fast as you can without losing enough health. Because the more enemies you're killing is the more shield and the more health I'm getting back. So that I'm balancing that to create this kind of like gameplay puzzle of me dodge rolling and murdering people. And it's amazing. And I love it. I want to buy this game. I want to get this on PlayStation 4 and bother all my friends who have PS Plus to play this with me. Okay, I went back and I played the demo of the PS4 version, and it definitely doesn't run as well on like my base PS4. Like 60 frames per second is the way to play this game because the dodge roll and the shooting and the running is like so inherent to it. So after that opening area, you're hopping those hub areas. You'll get to this guy named Jakob, who I can't tell if the main character is like a Russian or has a bad Russian accent. He kind of sounds like a northerner from like Fargo. He's like, me and Jakob are going out to do some stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, no one can really pinpoint where that main character is from. You just somewhere.
But there's that hub area, and then you'll hop to other hubs. There'll be cities you get to, but in between those is just like, it kind of feels like a Borderlands area where it's open in the center and it kind of forks off into linear areas. You'll have one area that goes off to like a side quest. You'll have one that goes off to a main mission you need to go to. This game does not want you to spend any time doing anything but combat, so it gives you like these fast travel points whenever you beat a mission to just go back to an area and everything is super accessible so far in the campaign. Like, I'm like level 21. I think at level 30 is when you beat the game. I think it's like a 25-hour game so far. But yeah, you just do a mission. It's mostly mobs of enemies running at you and you murdering them. You going forward. There'll be a stronger boss in the middle. But the thing that has kept me up with this is that this game does not wait till the end game to give you all these weird, bullshit, stupid, amazing abilities that make you like an unkillable monster. Which
the fantasy is that you are basically a god.
Yeah. And that has like felt through with this, whereas like Destiny, you know, my exotics are coming towards the end, except for like they throw you one in the beginning and you get some. I've never felt as strong in Destiny as I've felt in this. Like some of the mods they give you, like even for the weapons, like so blue rarity stuff has one mod equipped, and then purple will have 2, and I think legendary has 3. And when you break down an armor or a weapon, it will give you that mod so that you can reforge it later in like a crafting area. Because in this crafting screen, you can add and replace any mod you want to, but I think it's 1 per. You can re-roll 1, but it lets you pick it.
Okay.
And then you can boost its 2 like sub abilities. Like some weapons have extra weapon leech, which is you getting health back, or you being able to have more long range damage. And you can level up a blue and turn it into a purple, actually. Or you can, let's say I have a level 16 weapon, I'm 22. I can use some materials to make that weapon 17, 18, 19, or whatever. So there's so much flexibility in the customization, and them just wanting you to make a badass. They have really gone out of the way to make it really easy to customize your character as much as you want. As well as like the skill tree they give you, which is a pretty big skill tree that's branching. You get some points every couple levels.
Yeah. So are mods like weapon leech? Is that something that like any class can access, or is like something like that only available to the Technomancer?
So yeah, weapon leech is just on a gun. It's just like you have like some sub. You have like 2 sets of abilities. You have like a weapon mod, which is changeable. And then you have like weapon abilities, which are just inherent traits that come with it that you can't change. It'll be like
that's an ability.
Yeah, so you'll have like extra close range damage or extra like weapon leech or some other stuff. Now the mods that you get will be like inflict bleed for 10 seconds. Or the other one, they're mostly skill-based abilities for the armor. And then for the weapons, yeah, it's like inflict bleed. Or I have this thing that'll chain enemies, which when I'm shooting at them with an assault rifle, chains will show up and it'll slow them down.
Okay, so it's like impair enemies and apply status effects.
Impair status effects, yeah. And then for the armor, it's been like, I got all the level 1 abilities are closely tied to your skills. So one of them was like, I get 2 charges for my temporal blade, or it extends the range of my time bubble by 2 meters. Or one of them was, there's some wild stuff I was in. Oh yeah, I get like 2,000 armor whenever I activate my that run and gun ability I was talking about, where I would set the mark. I would get a bunch of extra armor. So certain mods will make abilities way fucking better than they are. So it's like you're trying to the flow of this game for me has been, I'm trying to figure out what mods will make these abilities better than my older abilities, because that's why I switched to borrowed time at some point.
Yeah,
because I'm just getting a bunch of shields and running up and shooting people more than like the base amount that the ability will give me. And I was watching some videos before I got here. Some of the other skills I have is twisted rounds. You fill your magazine with anomaly infused bullets, and they just do a bunch of damage to enemies, which you throw that on an LMG, and you're just running around murdering people, even more so. And then you get one called, you throw a knife at a bunch, like 5 people, and it will slow them down and do some extra damage.
Well, so throw knives at people when everyone has...
Yeah, you throw 5 temporal knives at people. Yeah. So I think that one replaces your slow trap at one point. And then the last ability is time rifting. You throw a shockwave up and it'll shoot everyone in the air, and they're stuck in the air for like 4 seconds. This game's cool, Austin. I was so wrong about this game. Even the graphics. Okay, the graphics are okay. Like there's stuff that looks better in this, but I think the amount of work they put into like making the combat flow and making like I love the guns. I haven't touched a sniper rifle, Austin, or the pistols, but I'm just shotguns and machine guns. It's great. This game's really cool.
Yeah. I can't imagine like any of like using the sniper rifles like any other class other than the Technomancer, and that would require me to have like a squad.
Yeah. Some of the reviewers were talking about this were like, yeah, I went Technomancer sniper rifle in the beginning, and I had to re-roll because like it's not... People rush at you. Like they have like besides gun dudes who run at you, which they call insurgents, which I thought was a choice. Maybe something else.
Oh, there's so much more happening there.
Yeah. I guess we could talk about the story a little bit so we can like go back to talking about the bullshit in this game that I actually like. So you're on this planet and you're like colonizers, and there's this storm that comes. Oh, and Earth is fucked. No, everyone's leaving Earth because you're colonizing planets.
So you are like the second of an arc ship that leaves Earth after the first one blows up. Y'all go through space. You arrive at a planet called Enoch, which like y'all took telemetry data and like, oh, this might work. The landing doesn't work out because of like the dude in charge of it is like, no, we want to colonize Enoch now.
Enoch's a Bible thing. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
They're just going for it with the ancestor of Noah, son of Cain. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so they're on the planet. The storm comes by and everything gets fucked, and a bunch of people get powers, and they put you in a stasis pod for some reason.
Well, because you're injured, and so like the woman who you're with, whose name I don't remember, who's like the head engineer, is like, I'm gonna put you in a stasis pod, and you're in a stasis pod for 37 years.
And then it's just a Mad Max planet after that. Like this game is just a Mad Max planet.
And now there's cannibals. Like, and this is the first time you meet the ECA, who are the air quote good guys, or at least the people you're working with refer to these people as the insurgents. These people themselves refer to themselves as exiles, because they are the, not descendants, but these are the people who were woken up prematurely, so that we had like 500,000 people without the resources to actually take care of these people, and then it just became infighting as the ECA hoarded resources, and the exiles tried to do their own thing and just turned to capitalism, apparently. Not capitalism, cannibalism.
I wouldn't know any of this, because I haven't watched any of these cutscenes, Austin, but it all sounds really cool.
I did.
Yeah, but after that, you're just kind of running around, going from city to city, trying to. It's you and Jacob, because he's your homie from before you got put into Crisis, and now he's like, "Oh, you're all young, and I'm super jealous, and I'm old." But he drives your truck for you, so that's how you fast travel. That's how you travel to a new area.
Yeah, like a new hub,
which is the progression. Yeah, you're kind of hub hopping, and then you have these like. I would call them smaller than like a Borderlands 3 map. But yeah, this game is... there's a little bit of Remnant from the Ashes, but only in the sense that like you're building up your character sheet and you're getting these cool abilities and you have these guns you're kind of messing with. And then it turns a corner and is like, hey, we're kind of Warframe too, because you're fat. You don't jump around and murder people, but you're just like a one-man fucking army. And then the interviews they've been giving a little bit, I think they talked to Paul Tassi with Forbes, and they were like, okay, so when they were making Anthem, they told those people not to look at Destiny and Division. Have you looked at any stuff? And they're like, yeah, we this game is solely, like, a lot of this is like our love of Diablo 2 and those kind of games. And I think they get to it to a certain degree with the abilities and the weird stuff you can do in this. But it's mostly just been the gameplay of this is only you shooting people. I haven't been solving puzzles. I haven't been like, I open doors. Sometimes I'll kill some dude and he'll give me a key and I'll open a door and I'll keep going forward. But that's about it. And it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Like, if the murder's good.
Yeah, I've never gone on a fetch quest where I need to pick up an item and bring it back to a side quest giver. It's mostly been, hey, this guy fucked me. Can you go kill them? Or this guy screwed me over.
Yeah. So
go murder them for me.
There are cases where you do fetch quests in that you are returning like someone's head.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, there's some other fetch quests too, but all the fetch quests lead you to just shooting bandits or insurgents or outcasts, as they'll call it.
Yeah, the people it's okay for you to kill because we don't view them as people.
Yeah, and then so the other type of enemies in this game is there's monsters that will run at you. Ah, those guys. Those guys, dude, you can blind fire, and the blind fire is really accurate. So I just have this machine gun. There's a bunch of, like, what I would call xenomorph-looking motherfuckers, except they look more... They're not black, they all look like bugs from Starship Troopers or something. And I'm just mowing them down, and then at the point I'm at, I've had, like, 15 of those guys running at me with a big dude and an even bigger, like, mother, like, brute. And I got screwed over yesterday by one of those. It took me a while solo. But this game also has some cool side quests where at a certain point, when you're past, like, 7 areas, you'll be in a town that will give you bounties for named human targets. And then you will have one for named, like, animal bosses or monster bosses, which I fought, like, a giant bird, and I fought, like, a really tall alien thing that was, like, on, 2 legs, like, normal human pose, not on all 4s or something. But you complete that quest, and it'll give you a choice of 3 legendaries to pick from. So those have been a good way to farm, is you can go back to your older areas. All the side missions scale with you, too, which is really cool. So if I skipped a side mission, I can go back to it and still get, like, a legendary piece of armor or the same amount of experience.
Okay.
At least I think that's how that works. Because at least, like, the bounties, I can go forward and come back, and the gear will just scale to me.
Yeah, and the side quests don't, like, close after you do them. Like, you can go back and replay them whenever.
Yeah, I haven't replayed them yet, so I don't know what the drops are for it, but it's been fun. There's a lot of stuff to do besides, like, the main story. And the world tiers are cool. I've pumped it up to 8 right now, so all the enemies are 4 levels above me. I'm still kind of dealing with them pretty fast, but if I get into situations where there's this boss character that will be tankier. The 3 I've run into is there's a guy with a minigun who has, like, metal armor on the front of his chest. So either you get behind him and shoot him, or you deal enough damage to where the armor on the chest falls off. And these dudes are tanky, where it'll take, like, 10 seconds of constant shooting to kill them. Or you'll fight a guy who has, like, a fire pack where he's shooting a flamethrower. And then you'll fight, like, a fake Outrider dude who also has powers. So might be invulnerable to my slow trap. Or he's, like, teleporting or throwing up fire things at me.
Or self-healing.
Yeah, and I fought one big boss who, it was him by himself, and it was just kind of, like, soaking him with damage until he died and being able to heal fast enough. It was okay. Whatever. That's not the cool stuff in this game. I don't know. I'm obsessed with this game, Austin. I'm having a great time. They really made it to where you could play this by yourself. Like, 2 of the classes are really good solo. This and the rock one apparently are really good. To where like they have the world tier thing, so you can crank the difficulty down if you're having a bad time, or you can crank it back up. So, and you can change that at any time. It's really good. Yeah, I think that's my Outriders thoughts. It's amazing, and I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Dope.
It's interesting. Like the pivot is interesting. Like now that you have access to the full thing, as opposed to the limited content of the demo.
Yeah, I didn't realize I should never use the cover, and I should just go and murder people. I mean, I use cover a little bit, but it's mostly me running out there charging people headfirst with a shotgun.
Yeah, like it's only a game where you want to use cover so you can look around to see who's where,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you just jump out of it and start running at people.
pretty much. And I think that's all I've. Yeah, and it runs really well. I guess they've had a little bit of server problems, and they have the crossplay isn't working yet, but I don't know. They'll get to it. I think this game's selling. It's probably selling really well. It's doing really well on Twitch. Any questions before we exit out of the Outriders?
Yeah. So, yeah, real quick question. So this is a game where everyone talks about how you don't have any resources. Why are you allowed to carry 700 bullets for your gun at any given time?
Yes. I have, you have a lot of, yeah, you have, the machine guns hold 700, and I think the shotguns are like 30, but yeah, bullets
That's a lot
are
of bullets.
yeah, well, we farm bullets, we're all bullet farmers, actually.
Ah, yes. The thing that you could just do where you farm bullets, much like
Correct.
everyone's favorite Mad Max side character.
Yes. No, it's been cool. I'm, yeah. I get some Remnant feel. Remnant's much harder, and like, Remnant will be like, oh, here's like 10 dudes with knives running at you. And Outriders is like, yo, what if it was 20 dudes running at you? And what if there was a boss there too running at you? And what if like
the knives blew up?
And yeah, what if the knives blew up? And then what if you murdered everybody and their skeletons? Like you will shoot people and their bodies will like split in half and there will just be blood everywhere. This game has no stop. It's buck wild. It just keeps going. It just has everything. It's just like bloody cursing bullshit. I don't know. Apparently they try to be a little more somber with the story between like the jokes and the shaky cam. Yep. All right.
Sure.
All right. Do you want to talk about Fallout 3 for a bit? I think I need to check on my dogs for a second.
Yeah.
Give me some Fallout bits.
Yeah,
Right back.
a little bit of Fallout bits. Fallout 3, the first Fallout game by Bethesda once they, were able to acquire that license from the failing Black Isle. Well, the Black Isle was the development studio. I think Interplay was the publisher. Um, but Bethesda made this Fallout 3, and it's it's readily available on PC. It's pretty easy to get a hold of. It's pretty cheap on a number of storefronts. It's also on PC Games Pass right now. So I decided to just kind of start going back through it again. I've been working on this for I think the better part of a year. I've had like a Fallout game going that I've been pretty like casually walking through, really only picking up the pace so I can do the DLC, none of which is particularly good. But I just never gotten to play it, and I like wanted to go through the Fallout DLC because I'm usually impressed by Bethesda's DLC offerings for their games, specifically as it applies to Skyrim and Fallout 4, with like I believe it's Far Harbor being a really interesting expansion for Fallout 4. Yeah, so I just kind of hit this like mood where I could just completely vibe out to 3 because it's such a head empty game. It's not particularly engaging within its narrative or combat. especially when you use console commands to get yourself to the max level and just, instantly kill people you don't really want to fight. And it's a fun enough like world to explore, even as it constantly fumbles in its themes, in dialogue, and how it handles ghouls, which are very within like three. I can't say like how they've been handled within like the Fallout 1 and 2, but like within Fallout 3 are just like are a race allegory in a very real way that it treats really inconsistently, because you talk about having the ghouls who, and the ghouls specifically for context, are people who have been affected by radiation to the point that their skin is basically melting. Um, and some of them have gone, as the game, as Fallout 3 refers to them, as feral, being just mindless people who will kill you as soon as they see you. And like I
Uh,
just had just done the Tenpenny Tower side quest in that game,
ooh,
where
that's a good
you
one.
go to a hotel. There's like a still standing hotel. It's occupied by a bunch of like elitist humans, and there's like a ghoul dude named Roy who wants to pay the way for him and a couple of other ghouls to get in there. But everyone in Timpani's like, no, we don't like ghouls. We're horrible racists. And Roy's like, hey, you want to help me get my friends in here? I said, sure. What do I need to do? He said, you just need to open the gates so that way you can get a bunch of feral ghouls in here so they can kill everyone in there. I was like, well, let me see about talking to the people of Tenpenny before I do. And then I talked to everyone in Tenpenny Tower. It's like, oh, wow, all of these people are horrid.
Yeah, so you let the ghouls in, and then they
Yeah,
take over, and then
let the
they're running
ghouls
the
in.
tower after that. It's hilarious. That
Yeah,
mission is great.
and like, I remember a friend telling me about how even when he did the peaceful thing, like the ghouls did move in, but he came back and they just killed everyone anyway, because like all the residents of Tenpenny were not, were still racist. Um, And that's kind of what I expected to happen when I did like the, non-peaceful approach. But when you walk into Tenpenny Tower, once you let the feral ghouls in, it's just a horrid scene of feral ghouls running around and just mauling people. Kind of hilarious in the way that, like, the presentation of Bethesda RPGs has always been pretty hilarious with like how janky it is, but you just have to like go up every floor of Tenpenny Tower and watch feral ghouls destroy the residents of this place. It is something else, and then is later played for laughs, which I don't think it necessarily earned.
Yeah, but it's. I've always liked the side missions of Fallout games, especially 3. I think 3 has some of the really good. Like I like the antagonizer and
Yeah, the
the
like
robot dude who are
antagonizer, and
fighting in the town.
yeah, and like that's a fun enough one. I think like one of my bigger problems with like Bethesda's RPGs is like how speech checks work and like how they're written, where it's just kind of like you have like your speech success success percentage. It's like could be anywhere from 0 to 100, and the sentence that follows it is just like, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong. You need to stop it." It's not presenting any argument. It's just like this is the one that is going to make this person perhaps see your point of view as they decide that, oh, I don't want to do the bad thing I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, that breaks down to a point where it's like what I would call very video gamey, and it's just like another skill they want you to use, or
Okay,
a different type of class or whatever. Soundtrack's great in that game. Oh, the soundtrack. What you probably said it, but what class are you playing as? What are you doing over
you don't
here?
have
What are
classes in
what are you
Fallout 3.
specializing in
Oh, like
this
guns, I
time?
guess. I don't know. Like like considering this is on PC and not on a console, I immediately opened up console commands so I could beef up every skill because I don't want to mess with this game's like the friction
Oh,
of Fallout
oh,
3 because I don't think it's particularly interesting. So I am someone who is definitely specialized in like speech and like lock picking. Apparently, I didn't specialize in stealth at all because everyone keeps finding me.
oh no. You just got to get the Chinese stealth suit from the Operation Anchorage mission,
Yeah,
Austin.
I don't want to do. I'm not playing Anchorage.
Anchorage is okay. It's
It's
fine. You
such a
just shoot some people and
terrible,
it's
yeah,
over.
and it's not fun. Like it's such a
It's
terrible expansion for this game because it wants to play as like a parody of Call of Duty, right? But there's no actual work going into that parody. It's just
yeah,
extended Fallout
yeah.
missions where you shoot NPCs in the past because you're playing a simulation. Um, and it's not enjoyable. I think I got to the first like maybe close to the end of the first half of that, and then my game crashed, and I decided that I was not doing that again.
F in the chat. But the stuff it gives you for beating that is just so makes you such also a mass murderer. You get a Chinese stealth suit and then you get like a silenced machine gun. It's kind of like it looks like a not an MP4. I can't remember what it is, but there's a really good machine gun it gives you. I like the pit. It's a really good DLC for that. Where you're going,
Yeah, the pit
becoming a
was
steel miner, collecting 100 ingots, Austin.
yeah, the pit is like first impression, it's an interesting like location. I don't think its slave narrative is particularly interesting. Um, I will say like the equipment you get from the pit is generally like pretty cool. Like the I forget what the name is, like the grinder hammer or whatever it is. Like that big saw you get to run around with is probably the most lethal melee weapon that exists in Fallout 3.
Yeah. Oh, here. Yeah. Here's why I would beat the pit. You get the Gauss rifle after. It's this energy sniper rifle,
That's right.
and it
Yeah.
just wrecks. You want to kill Death Claws, Austin? This is what you use to murder Death
Yeah,
Claws. Is
that's
the
like
Gauss rifle.
sitting in my house somewhere in Megaton.
Yeah, and then you get a shock sword. I'm trying to remember what this silenced gun is called. I can't find it on
The
here for some reason.
Infiltrator.
The infiltrator. The infiltrator.
Specifically from the pit. I don't know what you get from Anchorage, but like from the pit you get the Infiltrator, which is a just a
Oh yeah,
silenced
maybe
machine gun.
I'm getting it mixed up. I think you're right.
Um,
But yeah, the Gauss rifle, and you get a winterized power armor that's like really good too. Yeah, that's from the pit. I think that's for getting 80 ingots or something, isn't it?
Definitely
How
didn't do
many?
that.
How many ingots? Oh, dude, I collected all the ingots because I hated myself in high school,
Like
and I was just like, I need these ingots.
I showed up to the pit and they're like, "Ah, you got to work to get these ingots." I said, "Like, no, I'm here to kill slavers, so I'm going to kill slavers. I'm not going to work
Nice.
for slavers." Um,
I
and then just
wanted the guns. I wanted the guns.
yeah, and then that enters like a narrative. Like there's the interesting stuff in the pit is like I remember its settings like being very vertical. Like you're going up a lot of towers that are connected by like real like ramshackle walkways. Because like the idea of the
Man,
pit is that you're in Pittsburgh, instead of the Capital Wasteland, and that was
yeah,
like
yeah.
probably some of the most interesting encounter design that exists within Fallout 3. Even like that's not a very high bar, of course, but um, like I remember enjoying like the shootouts you could get into in the pit.
Oh man, and Point Lookout and Mothership Zeta. Mwah. Ah, Point Lookout. I think don't you go to like a Isn't there like a roller coaster area at the end of Point
Yeah,
Lookout? I
like
don't
you.
remember
Well,
because
I
you're
mean,
like in a swamp
it's where you
area.
dock. It's.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what the geographical equivalent in America is for Point Lookout. But you go to like some World's Fair looking thing, um, which it has like the roller coaster and a broken Ferris wheel, and that the main thrust of that expansion is something about some like you need to find a girl. Like it has a very similar setup to what Fallout 4 would do with Far Harbor. You need to go find a girl who disappeared, uh, got herself involved in some religious group that is involving itself in the affairs of a ghoul who lives in a mansion. And you need to work for that ghoul to talk to see about stopping his like now AI partner, uh, who is seeking to actively destroy him. And it's a real nothing of a narrative, but it does introduce an interesting like setting that is notably different from the Capital Wasteland.
Yeah, the setting was pretty fun. And Mothership Zeta, you're just on a spaceship because you're abducted, and you get alien weapons, and hey, you get a samurai armor for some reason
Yeah,
because
if
they
he
abducted
dies,
samurais. It's great. Yeah.
it's such a
I should. Okay, hey, guess what I can do on an Xbox that I can't do on a PlayStation 4, Austin?
what can you do?
So I can play Fallout 3 because you can't. They're gonna lose Fallout 3 with that PS3 PSN store shut down.
Yeah,
I might. I
only
bought New Vegas. I might just go find the complete Fallout 3 pack, and I think it's not just on Game Pass, but I
it
want to
is on
buy it.
Game
I want to
Pass.
own it.
Yeah,
I want to own it. I want to own it.
yeah, I'm sure you could probably find like the Game of the Year edition for Fallout 3 and like New Vegas
You
easily
know,
enough.
they didn't have the Game of the Year digital copies. You had to buy the game and then the DLC. But all
Hmm.
the DLCs were like $1 for New Vegas, which wasn't too bad. So I was like, all right, fuck it. It was just on sale. I was like, ah, cool. I'll do this. I'll do this. Fallout 3 is a great game, man. I poured hours into that when I was like between working and not working.
Yeah, I mean it's a good like it's a good one of these games you could spend time in. I don't know if I would say much of it is particularly great, but like I could sit here
Yeah.
and listen to like Too Much Future, which is a like a Fallout series let's play by Cameron Cuzzleman and Mike Lutz over at Range Touch. And I can just sit here listen to them talk about Fallout while I play Fallout, and it's just a very good vibe.
Oh, and the soundtrack, dude. I don't want to set the world on fire, Austin. Into each life, some rain must fall. So many good songs. I had like they had like a promotional CD when this game came out. They had like 4 tracks on it that I got from like GameStop. I was like, oh, this is sick. 2009, man. This was a great game. I don't know. I haven't gone back to it. I would say this. I don't know. Compared to like Fallout 4, I'm sure people are like, yeah, 4 is just more of 3, but with less stuff going on.
Yeah,
Is
like
what I always hear.
yeah, like this like you look at 3 and like 3 is there's almost I don't want to say like lack of commitment when you look at 4, but that feels very rude and quite frankly uninformed. Um like 4 is just more interesting in how you move about. I mean, 3 is more interesting in how you move about its world because, like, you have the Capital Wasteland, and this is like the ruins of Washington D.C. And in order to get most places within the more urban areas of that wasteland, you have to use the underground metro tunnels, uh,
Yo,
which
yes.
are an entirely different like vibe to like the above ground world and are often filled with like some of the more dangerous enemies regarding feral ghouls and the air quote glowing ones, which are just heavily irradiated ghouls. Whereas like you don't have anything like that in four. Like you don't have like you can walk around Boston in four and not be particularly in like the game does not impose a method of travel onto you or like an area onto you outside of specific quests where like you have to go into tunnels to find the railroad. Um, And so like just the idea of walking in the spaces that exist within three is far more interesting than anything I can recall in four.
Yeah, I might. I got this Game Pass. I might
Yeah.
just go mess with Fallout 4.
Yeah,
It'd be cool to play a Fallout game that I've never played before. 'Cause I haven't done this or Fallout 76, but I don't. I'll take the traditional. I downloaded Rage 2, but I might just go grab Fallout 4 instead.
yeah, well, Rage 2 is like a good like couple hours of really like well-made shooter. It's a bit too
Yeah,
long for me. I
yeah,
think 4 is a fun enough game. I think there's some peaks it reaches pretty early. Its character work is better than anything that 3 puts out, but again, when the bar is that low, um, yeah, I could say like if you can get it on the cheap or free, like 4 is a fine enough thing to poke around with, and if you want to mess with the Far Harbor expansion, that's pretty good.
yeah. And I think I think they made this game run. I think there's some new optimization for the Series S version of this as well. So, hey.
Yeah, and also like the in-game mods that you can
Yeah.
equip with 4 make it so much easier to just mess around with that. And because you're on the Xbox, you're not limited to mods that are made using uh, assets that already exist within the game, like you are on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Ooh, there's this $20 Game of the Year version. Maybe if I really like it, I'll buy it too. I like doing that. Game Pass will do this thing where like you'll have it and you'll play something, and then maybe it'll give you a discount on a game you're playing as well. Doot. I played a bunch of Call of Duty, Austin.
Yes, you
Um,
did.
I had more fun with it than the last time I jumped into it. The maps are cool in this game. I realized, like, there was one where I was like in Berlin. Ooh, Fallout 3 is not on Game Pass. Weird. Okay. So I'm like, it feels like I'm in Berlin, and there's this train station. There's like a left area, which is like the inside of the train station. It kind of winds around. This is an objective map too. There's 3 points, and they're all kind of like in a line pretty much. But the other side is a bunch of trains. Sometimes they'll come through and block an area, so you can't hop back and forth. Or you're just running around shooting some dudes. I think there was one where I was like in a mall. The guns feel fine-ish. Like, they don't feel like old guns. They just feel like they're, I just feel like I'm playing Modern Warfare. Except not as nice. But the mode I was talking about where in the last time, it's, what was it called? I need to find it.
Very surprised they put 3 on Game Pass. I thought they did.
Yeah, I did too. So it is this multi-squad team deathmatch where you're capturing objectives.
Yeah.
It's like Warzone blah 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 blah. Let me see what it's on here. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it's multi-team. It's called a map called Golava, and it is... I cannot find the name for this. All right, so it's 8 squads. Multi-team hardpoint is what it's called. Yeah, there's 10 squads, and there's 3 hardpoints, which are objectives that you're capturing, and they last for 120 seconds before they rotate out. If your team controls all 3, you're banking... You basically bank a point every second, but if you have all 3, you're getting 3 points a second, and the first squad to 1,000 points wins. So we're just... It's not as big as a Warzone map, but it's close enough and it's pretty tall. And we were just running around, getting in vehicles, holding objectives. And you have the armor system in Warzone where you need to reload your your metal plates that you have in your chest to have your armor, which is like the additional hit points over your health.
Yeah.
So I took a light machine gun, and I was just mowing people down. Like, I got on top of this building while I was on a hard point, and I see dudes coming out of a forest. I'm just like, oh, this guy's done. I would just, like, shoot 30 rounds his way and murder him. They have Prop Hunt in Cold War 2, which is really cool. If you've never played Prop Hunt, it was really popular in Counter-Strike, where there would be a bunch of 2 teams, an attacking and a defending team. The attacking team were regular... what I would call, soldiers with guns and stuff. And then the other defending team would be a bunch of props. So I would be like a gas canister or a tire or like a piece of cover. And you would move around and sit there and place yourself. So it was like this really fun game of hide and go seek. And they just have Prop Hunt in there. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I played some Prop Hunt. That multiplayer is totally... they've got some cool stuff. They just this hardpoint thing I was talking about recently came out like a week ago, I think, too. And they have brought a bunch of new maps and some zombie stuff. I haven't touched zombies, but it's been cool. I'm having a good time. I'm playing more Outriders right now, but if I feel like shooting stuff, I'll go in here and mess with it.
I mean, what other have there been any like recent changes? Because I know we talked about like them putting stuff in Warzone that didn't work out with like Cold War like guns in Warzone.
Let me see what people. I haven't touched Warzone at all, but
Well, I meant like for Cold War's like multiplayer. Like, is this just kind of like because I'm not hearing a lot about Cold War's multiplayer because Warzone is dominating so much of that conversation.
yeah. Black Ops Cold War. It's just a Call of Duty multiplayer, man. I think it kind of fits the same place like Modern Warfare's did.
Yeah.
It's not as polished, but it's still totally fine. I was having a good time when I was playing it. You're just playing team deathmatch and hardpoint and stuff. They integrated some of the guns from Cold War, but I don't. Yeah, it's 30 new guns, and I think they're way stronger than the other ones or something. Don't know. It's fine.
Gets a
It's
bit
Call of Duty.
yeah.
It's more Call of Duty.
Like I don't know, like Call of Duty is always the thing that's like it's easy enough to talk about because it's always the same thing, but also with how many different like projects they have sitting with it, it gets increasingly complicated to properly convey anything about it.
Yeah, it's got some cool maps and the new modes are really cool. I like that they have a couple bigger map modes. Like last time I played, they had like a 18 on 18 mode where it had like 5 or 6 hard points you were capturing, kind of like a Battlefield feeling thing, which wasn't too bad. But yeah, it's more Call of Duty. Did you want to talk about Cyberpunk or Genesis Noir? What you feeling like?
Um, I think we could probably skip Cyberpunk actually. Like we talked about it with the news. It's like still that game that is kind of broken, buggy, still fraught with like content that is not super well thought out and considered. But like does cool stuff sometimes, and when it does cool stuff, it does cool stuff that like works pretty well. And that's Cyberpunk. So we can
I
move on to
played. Yeah,
Genesis.
it's on Game Pass, and I played like 5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." This was like last night after I finished Outriders. I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'll come back to this." But
Yeah.
Austin played it apparently.
Yeah, I didn't finish Genesis Noir because I was playing it and then I hit a glitch where my character just wasn't moving. And because the game
Oof.
does not really tell you much of anything, it's hard to know if something is a bug or if it's just the game doing its thing. Because so much of what you do in that game is run to a thing, hope you press the right button, and wait for an animation to play that confirms that you indeed did hit the right button. Uh, I was just frozen for the better part of like 3 minutes, and then I decided to close it, and I didn't feel any like desire to go back to that game. So like sort of the big picture for Genesis Noir is you are a like watch seller who is technically like big idea. You are a dude who is existing in a reality that existed before like space and time as we knew it, right? Like you are one of a race of basically gods and is presented in this sort of like traditional like trope filled noir presentation where it's like it's all like muted cut like black and white. You're kind of someone who's probably a criminal and you call up your flame Miss Mass, who is a singer at a nightclub, and find that she's being attacked in her home by Golden Boy, who is a saxophone player at the nightclub Miss Mass works at. And as you enter Miss Mass's apartment, you see that she's about to be shot by Golden Boy, and you are basically trying to stop the bullet from hitting her by going into various situations that are about creating something new, which turns out to just be matter and us, more or less.
You're saying all these words, and I don't know what half of them
Yeah,
are. But
yeah,
I
no,
like the art
because
style of this
yeah, the
game.
art style's cool. It's like the thing that people will have like a common reference for its art style is like black and white Angel. I don't think angels, but like the workers in Soul, right? Like the the people who work in heaven and soul, right? That kind of thing. You're all tall, long, and hard lines, mostly the outline of people, the relative like impression of them more than actual people. And yeah, it's a very gorgeous game. I don't think it's that interesting in a real way. Like the noir framing is already like not my thing. Specifically, like the violence between jilted lovers is not particularly interesting to me. And like as gorgeous as the game looks, I just look at the idea of sort of going through all these scenarios and throwing stuff around to see what works. Because like the first thing you do is you go to a pasture filled with uh, obstacles and find plants that produce seeds, and these seeds will suck up obstacles that correlate to their colors. So you have white, black, and golden, and you need to use these seeds, plant them in the ground. They grow trees that then sort of suck up the energy of the obstacles, so that way you can move forward. And then, uh, I guess, get one step closer to stopping the bullet, which the bullet, like the firing of the gun in this game, is just called the Big Bang.
Austin, I feel like I'm having a fever dream while you're explaining this
It
to me,
is
too.
so much. I know I'm not doing a good job of talking about it, but I don't
No,
know
you're
who
totally
can.
doing a good job. It's just there's these like key pronouns like the Big Bang and the bullet and the golden boy, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, like
No, maybe I should play it a little more and experience the fever dream. It's installed. I have it on my
it's on
thing.
Game
I want
Pass
to play Narita. Yeah.
for PC and console. Like it's probably pretty short. Like I imagine it's less than 6 hours long, considering I got pretty far in like a 2 hour time frame. I just don't think it's interesting.
Yeah, it seems like one of those indie games. Like it either catches you or it doesn't. You know, it either is interesting or can be like fall flat in a certain sense. I'm installing Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Speaking of interesting things,
Yeah,
because it's also on Game Pass.
Yeah, like Oblivion is something like is at least fun. Um, yeah, but I just it's a shame because I really want to like Genesis Noir because it does look interesting. It has a pretty cool soundtrack.
Oh,
Um,
it's got the jazz, man. I was the opening of that game. You're selling people watches, and there's some jazz in the background. I'm just dragging these watches onto people.
yeah, like you have to like click and drag watches to people and be like, "Huh, you want this watch, huh?"
Someone gave me some underwear, and it was a bad time. I was just hungry. I just wanted to go get some food at the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
IHOP.
yeah. Because it starts out, it's like, "Oh, you just think you're a watch salesman who wants to get money so you can go buy food at a diner," and then it turns into this like love triangle that then turns into the sort of would form the crucible with which from which all matter as we understand it would be forged.
It's wild. All right, it sounds like a video game. All right, we'll be back next week unless I don't know. Do you want to? How does it really make you feel, Austin?
How does what
How
make
does
me
Genesis
feel?
Noir
Genesis
really
Noir
make
make me
you
feel?
feel?
Uh,
Yeah.
ah,
Ah, we'll
really
be
was
back
kind
next
of the
week. It's
thing.
okay. Hey, it's on Game Pass, man. It could be if you're paying for it already. Maybe give it a shot. If it sounds like you were into what were they called? What are those? Noir? Yes, noir. It's in the title. If you like noir stuff,
Yeah, if you like the
it's got an
presentation
art
of
style.
noir,
Yeah.
and like
You could say it bathes in noir. Yeah.
sure,
All right, I'm
yeah.
at Travis23 Doyle on Twitter. You can catch me around.
Yeah, if you need to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Fearless2, TWO.
Till next week, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to play more Outriders, Austin. I can't stop thinking about that game. All right, bye.